What's up, everybody? It's Tyler here with Mom's Basement MMA, and I am really excited because we got Dre Miley in the house again. I bribed him with enough Outback Steakhouse coupons for him to come back to the show. So, Dre, man, first and foremost, I know that you're a married man now, and I just wanted to congratulate you on that. I think that's more important than fighting. Hats off to you. But I got to say one thing about that, though. That fight wasn't that long after Tim Eschtruth. So,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a bold move, man. Like, you're planning on getting married a couple weeks after you fight? Like, you must have thought he wasn't going to hurt you or something.
No, it's one of those things that you can't turn down a fight if you get the opportunity to present it to you. And if you're trying to get to the UFC or trying to get to Bellator, you got to take all the opportunities you can to keep your name out there. So the wife had told me before because she found out about it and she knows I can't back out of the fight. And she was like, "Well, don't get your face messed up." I was like, "All right, I'll do the best I can." So yeah, it worked out in my favor. Tim was a very scary dude. So, it made the wedding that much better, which was great. And thank you for saying that. So it feels good to be a married man.
And it is. It is. I tell you what, I'm married and it will be 7 years on Monday for us.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Well,
tolerates me, man. She tolerates me. So, and she's coming to the fight. I'm going to your fight. I want to talk about that. We got a big
okay.
fight coming up against John Sweeney. He's a really, really tough guy. And yeah, my wife and I, we live in Virginia, and we are going to drive down to South Carolina for your fight, man.
Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a really good time.
Oh, I hope so too. I'd love to, shake your hand, and I'd like to meet your wife. But first and foremost, before we even get to that point, talk to me about Tim. VFC 83. I bought the pay per view. I watched it, and I have a couple of thoughts on that fight. But I wanted to get your take first. Can before we talk about the fight in and of itself, can you tell me about training with Vince, with your teammates, about preparing for Tim? Because he's a tough guy.
Well, Eric Turner, he's my head coach, so he has a black belt in judo. So, and he really blends it all together. So it's really not one of those things you have to prepare for. It's a fight. So you have to be ready for everything. So what a great thing about our style is that we blend it all together. So you never know if you're playing the jiu-jitsu game or wrestling game or judo game. So, it's great to have that all the time. And the teammates I got were all a mixed bag. So there's no cookie cutters. You get a different look from every single person. So like you see every fighter, any kind of fighter out of the gym. So it's great. We are a family, we're brothers and sisters, we help each other get better. We push each other, we talk trash to each other to get each other amped up. It's a good time. It's always a good time. And Vince joins in on the fun. Vince will get certain people triggered and we try to get Vince triggered, but you know.
Well, I tell you what, I got triggered by Vince because I watched that fight of his not that long ago and
Mhm.
against Tanner, and I still don't feel that good about it, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things that no one at the gym really talks about. Well, like we've seen it, we acknowledge what's going on, but no one's like we just swept it under the rug. It's like we know what's going on. It's not no point of beating a dead horse. It's just make sure that next time that happens, it's not one of us. You know what
Well,
I'm
I know
saying?
he's I think that fight happened in the Apex, right?
Mm-hmm. I think
So
so. Yeah.
it would be NSAC. So I know on the news he talked about him and his coaches or whatever trying to do an appeal. It's probably not going to work, but I hope it's at least considered. From him, when you look at that fight, did it more or less go according to what you had prepared for?
Absolute. I mean, the whole plan was, just keep it standing. For the most part, it actually went to plan. I could probably been a little bit more aggressive with my feet, a little bit more disciplined with it. It helped a lot having Vince and Eric tell me to like calm down, don't get to it. Because at one point, I felt it. I was like, I'm gonna knock him out, and then like I started brawling, and it was like, stop, calm down. I was like, okay. So it's like telling the puppy no, and you're just like, all right, I gotta chill out for a second. So, it went according to plan all the way up until the cage. And like I didn't think that was going to finish him. I thought it was just going to be like one of those things like he just gets off of me, or we just keep going from there. So lo and behold, that was the way it finished him, and I can't ask for a better way to finish somebody that
Did he
dangerous.
did he connect with anything that hurt you during that fight? Because it looked like he didn't. Like you looked unscathed. So maybe I missed something in the clinch or something. But were you hurt at all?
His opening punches, they hurt me. Like he threw an overhand and a hook. And I think the first two hit me, and like I guess it kind of like woke me up. And I was like, "Oh crap, that actually kind of hurt," because it shocked me when we got there. It's like he's not trying to shoot because like this whole camp, like I was like, "Damn, he's gonna shoot on me. He's gonna shoot first thing right off the bat because he's not gonna try to stand up." And then he just started trading with me. I was like, "Okay, all right." Hit me the first two times. I was like, "Oh, okay, so this is the game we're playing." All right, so yeah, it shocked me. His first two punches, they hit. He hits hard, so I could see how he knocked out Cole. So and they caught me flush. So
Well, and yeah, he's a really tough guy. And so those punches, is it fair to say like his strength and just like how he started that bout, that kind of surprised you a little bit?
oh, 100%. Like I thought we was going to come out with a feeling out process, or he was going to throw something and immediately shoot. But yeah, the way he came out, it was very alarming, but also like reassuring. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want to be in here with me. He wants me to get in, get out.
So for those who didn't see the fight, basically, and I would do a fight breakdown of that if I knew I wouldn't get in trouble, but that's a story for another day. Um, I really liked how you were able to, I'm not going to say have your way, but like, no, I will say have your way. You kind of had your way with that guy in the clinch, and you Mark Hunted him, man, and it was a thing of beauty. I'm gonna probably end up putting your face on Mark Hunt and make a meme or something because that was a thing of beauty. And when you landed that, like, did you know right away that he was done?
Yeah, yeah. I threw it and like I felt him. Like when I threw it, and I was like, "That's a good." And I was like, "Damn, that's a good knee." And then I looked at his eyes, and his eyes rolled back. I was like, "Oh, he's out." I was like, "He's out." That's why I just walked off because I was like, "There's nothing that even if he did wake up, there's some follow shots coming up, and he's gonna be out." But yeah, as soon as I threw it, like I knew he was out because he stiffened up, and then he went out. I was like, "Yeah, he's done." It's like I'm not gonna finish that.
In your AMI career, did you ever knock anyone out like that?
Actually, no, I never have. I've always either submitted somebody or took them to like decision, but I've never knocked anybody out.
Well, man, I hope you had some Jack and Cokes or something after that. It was well deserved, and it was a beautiful knockout, man. It truly was. I was flipping out watching it here. And, my wife told me, she was just like, if you wake up our son, you're dealing with him. Like you need to calm
Yeah, yeah.
this down. But I was really excited, man, and I wanted to shift gears a little bit. Can you talk to me after that fight? You fight Tim. Did the fight with John Sweeney materialize at the conclusion of the Tim Eschtruth fight, or was this something that's kind of been on in the works for a minute?
It's just one of those things that just popped up. Like I had a couple people, offer to fight me, and I was like, just send it to my coach because I'm on vacation. We got married, and it's like planning on going to our family moon and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, I got really no say so who says what. And then the promoter Andy Hall was like messaging me like a lot and was like, hey, would you like to fight on my shows? Like, you got to talk to my coach, like, give him the total rundown. And another guy came up and said the same thing. He was trying to get me fight for. He's still trying to this day. He's trying to get me fight for Fury FC, and I was like, talk to my coach. And this guy was like, I want to have you fight, this on South Carolina's card. I was like, I talked to my coach. I didn't know it was John Sweeney. I thought it was going to be somebody. I thought it was, just going to be like another South Carolina fighter or something like that. So me and Sweeney was supposed to fight in October of last year, but, shit happened. And that's all it was. And then when he came up, when his name popped up, I was like, should I take? And it wasn't like I didn't take the fight. I didn't want to take the fight because of who he was and because of his standing, but I took it because I want to see if he's actually a man of his word. Because last fight, he didn't even try to make weight, and I asked my coach because he said we'll take it, and he talked to me, and was like, "You want to fight?" I was like, "Do you think this is a smart fight? Because I don't want to go through a whole camp, cut the weight, make the weight, drive all the way down there, and then he not make weight." And then my coach, we joked about it. He's like, "Oh, no, it's a possibility." He's like, "But take the fight." It's like, "I think you're good enough to fight tough people." It's like, "All right, well, let's do it."
And that's what I was going to ask you, Dre, because you've mentioned before you were on the Coach D podcast, or the show, whatever it's called, and John was on it with you. First and foremost, I thought it was a really well done show. If you guys haven't checked out that show, definitely hook that up. Definitely check that out. You learn a little bit more about Dre and his opponent. But you had mentioned, and you alluded to it before, that this bout was already supposed to happen and he had some weight issues. He didn't even try to make the weight, you said. And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, are you worried about his ability to make weight now? And now with the fact that you potentially have to go to South Carolina now for this bout, I mean, would you be willing to, I don't want to be premature and to like insinuate that John can't make the weight, but like if he comes in heavy, will you take that 20-30%?
I mean, that's totally an Eric question to answer, because me personally, like, I would do it, but like there's no safety with it. You know what I'm saying? Because he can hydrate, and he'll get back up to whatever he walks around at. So it's really not safe. So if he can make the weight, cool. If he can't make the weight, cool. But it just shows everybody that he is not as professional as he lets on to be, and it's just a shame because he comes from Wonder Boys gym, and those guys make weight all the time. So I don't understand why he wouldn't make weight.
Yeah, and
So
like he kind of was talking a little bit of smack about you for not taking the bout at a catch weight, but he
yeah,
wasn't close. We're not talking about a couple pounds. Like old boy was like 10, 11 pounds over, wasn't he?
yeah, he was 44, 44, 45 the
Okay.
day of weigh-ins, and was like, my body's cramping and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you didn't want to fight to begin with. And then the weird thing is that his teammate on the next card with me, and he was like apologizing, "Man, I'm so sorry." And no, he
Right.
fought that night. That's what it was. The guy was fighting the same night, and he was apologizing, like, "Man, I'm sorry. We didn't know what happened. We thought he was good. He was this and that." And I'm like, "Man, it's whatever." To me, that shows that you're mentally weak and you're not ready to fight. But he gave me like a laundry list of excuses. And that's why I was like in the interview, I told him, like, told Coach D, I was like, "Dude, you want me to pull up the messages? I got the messages. Like,
Right.
don't send me stuff because I'll save it and I'm going to use that shit for fire next time." So that's what he did. And he was like, "What?" I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was overweight. I said, "No, you said that you love food too much and that your cardio wasn't good and all that nonsense. You just walk around 170, 180. It's like, you ain't this one. Like, I don't even, we fight, I beat you, and then guess what? I get to the next show. If you beat me, guess what? You're still where you're at because no one believes in you."
Well, if he walks around at like 180, then there's a part of me that's like, well, then at a bare minimum, you should be fighting at 55 or 70. Like that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
respect to go from like 180, 185 all the way down to 35. Like that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I know
Yeah.
guys do it all the time, but I'm just saying it's like, hey man, if you can't, if you eat like me or something like that, you might want to rethink Bantamweight. That might not be for you, bro.
Well, it suits his fight style because his fight style's chaotic. He's got to go hard. He's got to go fast that first 5 minutes. If he can't get you out that first 5 minutes, it's just him trying to, find a way to get you out of there.
So
Or he'll save his energy.
let's talk about John for a little bit. So you guys are roughly the same because I remember talking to you last time. You're like 5'7", 5'8", right?
Yeah, about five. Yeah, 5'8", 5'9".
Okay. And it says on Tapology that he's 5'7". So let's just assume he's 5'7", 5'8". You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have the height on him. I don't know what the reach differential is. If anything, it may not make that much of a difference. So you mentioned before that like he's kind of an aggressive guy and you're expecting him to kind of just come out and blitz you right away.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any things other than like being like a brawler type? Are there any other things in his game that you think he does well?
I just think that he's just very good at keeping the person on their back foot. He throws just bombs. Like, he doesn't fit that like karate style that he comes from. He's like, "Oh, I wrestled," but like if you ever seen a karate guy wrestle, it's just very awkward. It's just
Right.
like your base is wide, and then at one point you're going to shoot. So that's the telltale what you're going to do. He does good at pressuring people and throwing wild strikes, so it makes people cover up. So, I mean, his last fight, that's what he did. He threw long strikes against a BJJ guy who was trying to go to the ground. But he didn't want to go to the ground. He wants to knock people out, you know. I get it. You have that power, but at the same time, I don't have to fight you for a whole 5 minutes. I just got to fight you first. I got to fight you for 2.5 minutes because everybody knows judges don't watch the whole 5-minute fights. I mean, 5-minute rounds. They watch 2.5 minutes. They watch a minute. So I'll let you blow your load and see what you got to do. But all he does is throw bombs. I mean, before he was throwing crazy kicks, but like, you know, it don't work for him no more. So since he's so damn big, it doesn't really work. So I would say overhands and hooks. He might wrestle with me, but then again, not many people want to wrestle with me anymore. So
I like your cardio, and I think this is a good matchup because your fight style is enough to piss off a lot of people. Like, you're an annoying guy to fight just by watching you. Like, especially if somebody comes in hot against you and they want to be aggressive and be a bully, that you're not a fun fight for them because like you're very elusive, your footwork is really good, and you're patient. You make people miss. And I kind of see this fight going along that same trajectory. I think you're going to make him miss. I think he's going to get tired. I think he's going to get frustrated. And do you let's just say he does wrestle. I wanted to ask you about his ground game because I don't know a lot about Sweeney's ground game. Can you talk a little bit about what would happen if this fight gets to the ground?
he's what I call like a grinder wrestler. From what I've seen of one of his clips, when he takes you down, he just lays on you. Like he just makes you carry his weight. So, you know, it's like one of those like carry all my weight, like lazy wrestlers. Like that works, but it ain't going to work against somebody that likes to move and is going to be moving. So that's all I really see with his ground game. But he doesn't really work on it. You know, in his last interview, he said he got away from it. You know, he might try to wrestle with me. I hope he does. I hope he like tries to show off like, well, I am the better wrestler. I hope it's not a striking match because then that's be bad for him too. At least in the wrestling, he has some kind of advantage because he has wrestled at a collegiate level before. But even then, that's not saying much either. So, you know, it's whatever he wants to do. That's his poison. So I feel comfortable not knowing where this fight goes.
So tell me a little bit, Dre, about how you're feeling right now. I know the fight's at the end of this month. If you're watching this right now, today is July 8th and Dre's fight is on the 30th. So where are you at right now? As far as how this camp's going, how you're preparing. I hope you're healthy. I hope that, none of your aches and pains are too terrible at this point. So can you talk a little bit about how your camp's been?
Camp really hasn't changed. So we went to Orlando and to go to Disney World with the kids, and then we came right back, and then I just hit it full tilt. So I mean, it's really not. I really don't know what fight camp is. Like we don't have fight camps at the gym anymore. You stay ready the entire time. You're training hard. You're learning. You know, you're evolving all the time. So it's more of we are going to show exactly the fight style I'm supposed to be doing. So if you thought this fight is going to be good, you should definitely tune on this one because I'm working on some new stuff for him specifically and other fighters because we have cracked the code and Eric is, a wizard at this. He's very great at cracking people's games and finding out what people do, like what their strengths are. And then this fight's going to show you something. It's like, I thought that last fight, this was this dude's moment, or this Jose Johnson fight. Like, no, this fight right here is like, you're going to say, Dre is a dog. Like, that's the type of fight that I'm going to bring to this dude.
I know you will, man. I believe. I'm coming all the way down. Like I said before, I'm coming. It's an 8-hour drive for me, but I'm doing this drive because I just want to see you in action. I've never seen a mixed martial arts fight in person before. Ever.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch, especially if you know the person. Like, your nerves will go crazy. You'll be overly excited, probably could, have anxiety attacks, but it's worth it. It's really worth it.
We got some really good seats too. I will be, I think I got as close to the cage as I could. So the tickets weren't too bad. About the XMMA fight, I am a little disappointed that Dodson won't be fighting. I heard he got in a really serious car accident. That's terrible, but I'm
Yeah.
glad that him and his family are okay. Just terrible to think about. Gray, I wanted to ask you, like, we talked a little bit, like, you're having to leave Tennessee where you typically fight at, and you're going into South Carolina where this dude's from. From a mental aspect, getting your mind right before you go into this fight, is that another challenge for you, or is this just another fight for you, just in a different building?
It's pretty much another fight. It's really and like you fight in Valor, and Valor is based out of Tennessee. My gym is there. The people that I love. Family, friends. They're all there. So like you get that anxiety, like, oh crap, I hope I don't, act crazy. I hope nothing crazy happens. I don't want to see my loved ones to freak out for me. But like it's getting to a point where, I can be stress free whenever I'm at home. Now, if I'm stress free at home, now what's going to happen when I go to enemy territory? There's no pressure. I have to appease anybody. I don't have to be like, oh, well, let me sell tickets. Let me blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I just show up. I fight. The pressure is on you. You have to perform in front of your people.
I was just going to say that. Like, do you think John is coming into this like, oh shit, I'm fighting in front of my people now against a really, really tough guy? Like, I think John's a savage, and I have nothing but good things to say about your opponent, John Sweeney. But apart from Cody, I don't think he's fought anybody like Cody is a beast, but you're a tough fight. And when I look at some of the guys that he's picked up W's against, I don't know if he's fought some of the type of caliber of guys that you have had to get through to get to this point. Would you agree with that, or do you have a different take?
I agree with it. The people that he has lost to, they went to the UFC, but at the same time, so I fought Cody first. I lost to him, and then my fight between, so there was Cody, and then there was another fight, and there was Jose, and me and Jose went 15 minutes, and I went 15 minutes with a striker that's supposed to knock me out. He couldn't do it, and I wrestled him for 15 minutes. So yeah, he's not fought anybody.
In the eye,
yeah,
and the momentum that you had pretty much like shifted. He probably should have got a point taken away. I don't know why that didn't happen. I know you've kind of moved on, and it's old news to you. You got other things to think about, but like looking at that fight, when I look at that fight today, it's a different fight. Like if you go up, I hope you run it back with him. I know you can beat Jose. I know you can.
Well, funny story about him is that he just lost his last fight, so he just got KO'd or TKO'd. So hey, karma happens. You weren't supposed to win that fight. You knew it, whatever. But back to Sweeney, Sweeney just fought a dude who's a jiu-jitsu guy, but like he has a short notice fight, and then he's 2-3. So, that means a lot. Like you're a 7-3 fighter, it's gonna be hard for you to fight somebody like that, which means you are supposed to beat him. You're supposed to convince him to beat him. Now, what's gonna happen whenever you fight somebody like me, or you fight somebody like Jose, or you fight a Tim? You're going to fold, like, because everybody has upgraded. That's the biggest takeaway that I've got from Cody and, fighting Jose is like everybody has upgraded. You have to up your game significantly. And I don't think he's done nothing because he's still doing the same thing that he's been doing. I mean, the whole saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it's broken. You got to fix it.
Do you think that this is kind of a tough question to ask? Do you think that Tim was a tougher opponent for you than John?
Tim, yeah.
You think
Tim had weapons? Because I watched a lot of Tim fights, and Tim has fought on big cards. He's fought on Rising. He's grappling against Darren Cruikshank, who is in one or Rising right now. He's fought some tough dudes. He just knocked out the top Southeast dude in the, right now. And I'm like, and then now on top of that, dude is he is a judo black belt, and then he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu brown belt. Like that dude is legit scary.
If Tim fought John, who'd win?
I would say that Tim would take him.
You do?
If
Okay.
if Tim would avoid getting, bum rushed, trying to strike with him, and Tim took him down, took him against the cage. Because what John does is that John gets against the cage, he's going to take him down. That's just 100%. It happens. So, I mean, if Tim gets him against the cage, he's going to get taken down or he's going to get punished for it. So I think Tim's even more dangerous than Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson was just a Muay Thai fighter that knew how to get out of certain positions. Tim is a guy that I know how to strike, I know how to wrestle, I know how to do things, and I can hurt you. So Tim by far is the toughest, most dangerous opponent I face.
Your game continues to evolve, and I notice a big difference in, like, I don't know if maturity is the right word or skills, or maybe it's a combination of both. It's hard to like put my finger on it, but you've grown a lot as a fighter. When I go back and I watch some of your earlier fights compare that to today, everything about you looks better. Like you look like you've evolved and up your game in all facets of mixed martial art. And then what's next for you?
It's whatever, it's really whatever. If UFC calls, Bellator calls, cool. If they don't, I keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the answer is just keep fighting. I'm not gonna lobby and not gonna, go on rants and raves about I should be in the UFC. I already know that. Everybody already knows that. It's just we just wait or we just keep knocking people down and keep beating people, and hopefully UFC is like, all right, we're gonna give you a shot.
Would you go into like Combate if they offered you something?
It is what I mean. If they did, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And if it was the right fight and my coaches said yes, these local shows are cool. But I'm trying to get to that, that high level, because there's at least two people right off the bat that I want to fight, and I've been very public about it. And I'm not gonna stop until I get at least one of them. So
are you talking about Cody and Jose, or are you talking about?
I mean, me and Cody, we kind of hash it out, and also I am way bigger than Cody now because he is permanently at 125. We just talked like the other day, but I would, and Jose, if we cross paths, we cross paths. It is what it is. I know what he does good. I know I can beat him, but the main two is Ronnie Lawrence and Nathan Manis. That's the only ones I could care about right now. I'll get there, and then that's the first two. Like, knock on the door, and it's like, here. Because the funny story is that Ronnie Lawrence will be in Nashville for the Valor fights, and I have two teammates fighting. And the promoter had asked me, it's like, hey, are you going to be at Valor fights? And I was like, why? It's like, oh, I don't know, your teammates are fighting. And then come to find out, they released that Ronnie Lawrence was going to be there. So I'm like, well, that'd be a stir of the pot, because me and him we ran parallels towards our career, but like by the time I was getting up to that point to start like trying to reach him, by the time, because Cody wasn't supposed to be around, Ronnie Lawrence had just got signed by the time I had got to that top part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably inevitable that me and Ronnie will have to run it, and then me and Nathan will have to run it too.
Well, so, I don't think it's very far-fetched for you to go to the UFC, and in short order. So Chris Matino, he follows me, and I had an interview scheduled with him like in August. It's probably not going to happen now because he's just going to get back from the fight and probably have his own things he needs to take care of. But like, there are so many guys. Well, I won't say like there are a lot of guys that are in your position that are literally like a fight or two away from being in the show. And all you need is to just keep doing what you've been doing, man. And I know you'll get there. You have the talent, but talent only takes you so far. Like, talent is half of the equation. The other part of it are certain intangibles, like how bad do you want it? What's your discipline? Can you stay in shape? And I think like you check off those hard boxes. The work ethic's there. Of course, everybody's talented, but it's like, can you put all the pieces together? Can you stay dedicated? Can you stay in shape? And I know that you can. I had a couple questions for you. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're probably getting ready to go to the gym, but I wanted to ask you, I have a lot of AMI fighters that I'll be having on the show later on this summer. And there are a lot of AMIs that are following this page. And, they look up to guys like you and they want to be in your position one day. So what kind of advice would you give an AMI fighter that's maybe somebody maybe with 1 or 2 fights under their belt that are looking to go pro one day?
Just simple. Don't chase the end result. It'll get there. Don't chase an outcome. The outcome is never determined. You never know where you're going to end up. You never know. You never know. So enjoy the process of it takes to be a fighter. Fall in love with training. Fall in love with the hard days, the good days. Fall in love with it all. Learning and sparring and build those friendships, build those bonds with your teammates because they're going to carry you. You may be the most talented dude in the gym, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't help your other teammates. So just fall in love what it means to be an MMA fighter because it really is a lifestyle. You can't come in at wholehearted. You can't come in at half-hearted. You got to come in wholeheartedly. You got to come in here with that attitude, like I am going to be the best version of myself, not trying to beat everybody. I'm going to beat myself. So it's really what it is.
Dre, I wanted to ask you a personal question. So I think there's only one fighter, at least that I know of, that is fighting full time. That's Anthony Smith. Every other fighter I know, they're working, they're going to school, they got something else going on. So what's up with you? How are you able to manage, providing for your family or doing whatever it is that you need to do to keep the lights on in addition to the whole fight game? How does that work, especially with being a father?
I teach classes. There's a lot of classes that I teach kids classes, BJJ and MMA classes, just it's really all it is, just teaching. It's something that I like doing. I like coaching. It's fun. It's great to see people build up their games and find out what makes people tick, makes people quirk and stuff like that. And also I teach kids class too. And that works well because my wife, she takes our workout class and then my kids are taking classes. Well, my oldest one is taking class with me, and then the other one is taking another class because he's smaller, but he'll be joining me in September. So,
Way cool.
It's a family affair pretty much.
Good for you, man. And does it get? How long are your workouts? So how much? So yeah, you work and then you are in the gym training. What does a typical week look like for you when you got a fight coming up?
Oh, and my fight that changed. It doesn't even change. Monday through Friday, I'm just all day at the gym. I maybe get a break between 12 and 4, maybe, but that's pretty much it. I'm usually at the gym. Mondays and Wednesdays, I teach jiu-jitsu in the morning. And then at night, I'm teaching kids class and then help out with jiu-jitsu. And I'm training while I'm teaching, and then MMA, I get to do my own stuff and I also get to help. So it's a fine balance. It's a fun balance.
Good for you, man. I can't wait for this fight. And before I let you go, got to ask you the question. You taking the Diamond or you got the Irishman?
I like Poirier.
I do too.
I can't stand Conor. I really can't because he's
an idiot. I'll say it. I don't like to talk bad about other people, but I'll say it about him. He's an idiot.
It's not so much as him. It's just that his fans build him up as be this godlike character. And then whenever you get to listen to him talk, it's this dude is just terrible. And then you watch him, if you call yourself a GOAT, I would think that you have all your game put together. Or at least have some game about you. He can't be just a GOAT because he's good at striking. He's been taken down a lot and he doesn't do anything, And people are like, well, he gets back up. It's well, yeah, if you work a job and you get paid, you get a paycheck, you're going to get paid. That's a normal fact. You're going to get up eventually. But what can you do to separate yourself besides talking noise and making people knock themselves out?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the first will be interesting. I see he has a very narrow pathway to win. I think he needs to knock out Dustin in the first. If he can't get it done in the first, then he's pretty much in trouble. I don't we all know he gasses out. He gets tired if Dustin gets him on the ground and is able to get in a choke, or a guillotine, like we all know Dustin likes to do. I think Conor's in trouble, but I already put a little wager down on that. I put some action on Poirier. I like him too. Are there any other fights that are going on that card that you're interested in? Another good one too. Nico Price versus Michelle Pajeda.
Oh, that's gonna be nasty. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nasty.
Nico's a beast, man, and so is that Michelle guy. I mean, he's cocky as all get out, but
yeah, it's all showmanship.
Yeah,
And then the Sean O'Malley fight. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see how Chris beats this dude.
I put money on Chris actually. He +5. I think I got Chris at +550. Nobody's giving Chris a chance, and I love that for him. I do. I'm like, this is fantastic. Nobody's giving you a chance, so you need to go out there and you need to shock the world. Just needs to do what he does. He's a beast, man. Like everyone is crapping all over Chris, and it's because people just aren't willing to educate themselves. And you know what? They'd be saying the same thing about you if you were in Chris's position. Like, hey, who? Like, this guy's got one eye, man. Sean O'Malley's gonna fuck him up. Like, people will be saying all kinds of crazy stuff because they don't know. But I think you guys are all savages, and I hope Sean is like sleeping on Chris. I do. I hope he is.
Oh, he is. He is. He's 100% doing it. No, he's not, because he thinks he's gonna do everything. He thinks he's gonna do what he's done to everybody else in his career. That's just pretty much just knock people out. It's like that Chris dude that's a bad dude. Like I watched some of those fights. Like that dude, he does not care. So I think that if he can get Sean against the cage, or he takes Sean down, the fight's over for Sean. That's it. Somebody that invests so much in their striking, you have to wonder about what they're going to do. Because if you make a living off knocking people out, and what are you going to do when you run into somebody that can eat those punches and just keep walking forward?
Eat a bunch of Big Macs and go to heavyweight.
Yeah. That's why I'm so excited about the Poirier and Conor fight, because it's kind of like me and Sweeney. That's what I'm more excited about. It's the same styles. He's gonna try to put him out.
You're like the diamond, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Poirier's more like me. He's very calculated. He's going to move, blah blah blah. But Conor and Sweeney, they throw bombs. They're trying to get that person in and out of there. But once they gas out, that's it.
That's it. That's Toto, man. It's over. Well, Dre, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, man. You're just a gentleman, and one of the most exciting 35ers that I've seen in a minute. And I know that after you win, you're going to get a call. You'll get an opportunity. It'll be from somewhere. And I can't think of a guy that's, more deserving of it than you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you, man. So I am, this is going to be, I got a couple more shows lined up after this, and then I'm taking a break for a few weeks. And during my break, I'm seeing Dre's fight. Dre, how can people that aren't in South Carolina, will they be able to get the pay-per-view of your fight?
I think they're streaming it on Facebook, YouTube, and some thing called Fight Network or something. So it'll be available to everybody to see.
Sweet.
So when it gets closer to time, I'll share it.
It's probably through the Fight app, FITE, probably.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to get
something like that.
Dre, before we go, were there any other shout outs or anything like that you wanted to do?
I'll just shout out to my wife and my kids. They're such a blessing to be around. The married life is a good life. So that's really great, And then everybody at the gym at KMMA and Frankie's Body Shop, everybody that there helped me get better, and as I helped them get better. So it really is a village, and it is awesome having everybody there. And then to anybody who's ever watched my fights, thank you. Anybody that sees my tweets or posts, keep liking them, keep sharing them, talk noise for me so that way Dana White can stop, ducking me and let me get on there. So yeah, just keep sharing and make sure you watch Star 30.
I put Dana on it and Scott Coker. I was like, yo, man, you guys need to, you guys need to do something. But I complain to them all the time. They just leave me on red, man.
Yeah.
Leave me on red.
Yeah. Same here. I've been trying for years.
Well, you know what, bro? Your people are going to pay attention. The difference between me and you is you have a way to show people right off the bat, hey, man, this is what I'm about. And people are going to pay attention to you. You just got to keep doing your thing, man. And you'll get there, man. I know you will. You just have it. You just have that work ethic. You have that want. And I'm just really looking forward to this fight, man. Looking forward to this fight. Dre Miley, thank you for your time, sir. Please follow my guy, Dre, on Instagram. I believe his handle is at Dre Miley 135. And be sure to get that pay-per-view so you can check him out.
All right, man. Thank you.